Southern University Law Center is probably the greatest change agent that has ever existed in the state of Louisiana. Our folks go out there and do things that other folks just don't think is possible.
The value of an HBCU to a community is undeniable.
No legal education, no experience more profound than the one I got here at Southern University School of Law.
What Southern University Law Center embeds in you, the world benefits.
This law school has helped thousands of people.
HBCUs, in and of themselves, created the black middle class. They lifted us from poverty. They educated us from the 1880s, right after slavery, and we owe a direct credit to these HBCUs across this country.
When we think about the beginning of Southern University Law School, which opened in 1947, the real key was that Charles Hatfield in 1946 started a campaign. And what he was trying to do was to gain admission in the law school as an African American in the state of Louisiana.
Charles Hatfield was a World War II vet, and he wanted to be a lawyer also, and he came back and there was no Southern University Law School.
When he applied to LSU Law School at the time, he was not accepted because they did not accept African American students.
Black lawyers in 1947 had a very limited space in this universe. They could only really service black people.
This was 8 years prior to Brown v. Board of Education. And the NAACP had a full assault on the whole idea of segregation and separate but equal, using higher education as the point. And by the time that he started his campaign, we had 10 years of litigation, beginning with Thurgood Marshall, to make sure that African Americans got access to graduate and professional school education. A.P. Turow in New Orleans was a giant of a man in terms of what he did. And when he connected with him being in New Orleans and him being a Xavier alum, they made all the difference in the world in terms of him being inspired to do that. And Louis Berry was another attorney involved in that case with Thurgood Marshall, and ultimately having the lawsuit filed on October 10th, 1946.
That lawsuit resulted in the creation of the Southern University Law School. And the first graduating class was in 1957. Dean A.A. Lenoir was tabbed as the first dean of the law school. He brought on a cadre of professors, and it was a combination of black professors, and there were some white professors from LSU. Dean Lenoir had the mindset to make sure that, he trained black lawyers for the civil rights fight. Dean Jesse Stone, who became president of Southern, was a big civil rights attorney up in North Louisiana.
After getting the law degree and going back up North Louisiana, practicing law, he was so angry when he went in the courtroom that they wouldn't allow him to sit before the rail.
People like that, they had the mindset that when they got out of law school, they was out in the fight, and that's what it was all about. Students coming here, being trained to, take up the mantle to fight for civil rights.
A lot of the breakthroughs in Louisiana from a civil rights perspective would not have occurred without those graduates from Southern University who were really inspired to be change agents, and they were going to be transformational leaders in their communities.
Graduates of this school has been involved in every major civil rights case that they've had in Louisiana.
It produces, an extraordinarily large number of African American attorneys. And when you think about the number of people who don't have access to justice, who don't have access to resources, it's important that people come out of this law school and go back to the communities that they came from and practice law.
I had this little theory. I would say, I'm going to law school to make the law, not to practice the law. When I was first elected to the state senate, every black lawmaker graduated from Southern University.
Southern took me from the backdoor cane fields of South Louisiana and polished me into a gem so that I can shine throughout the courtrooms throughout this country and this state.
Our mission is really to build a certain kind of lawyer. We're building lawyers that's not going to accept systems that fail, but will challenge them and fix them and improve them. I am the product of a Southern University graduate. I learned about our rich civil law tradition and how to be a player in that. And that would later launch a lot of my professional pursuits, including making history of changing Louisiana's non-unanimous jury law.
When I was elected judge, I was only the 7th black person to be elected to a judgeship in Louisiana. And consequently, to see how the cadre of black judges have grown since then has really been remarkable.
When I graduated from this law school, we graduated 6 women. 6.
Judge Janice Clark, who really challenged the way judges were elected in the state of Louisiana. And that was a monumental task. I mean, they were really risking a lot, but they challenged the way judges were elected in Louisiana, and they filed that lawsuit.
But as a result of our landmark case, Clark versus Edwards, we have more black judges per capita than any state in the nation. I believe I owe it to the community to continue in this struggle. Today, we are tasked with saving a democracy. I don't know if we knew that we would get to this point, but the forefathers knew, and they put certain mechanisms in place. This is a point in time in the continuum that we have a role to play, and Southern University School of Law is uniquely situated.
In 10 years, I see the Law Center being a leader in acknowledging the past in order to address present-day legal and healthcare disparities. We must acknowledge the past and learn from it.
And when we use the word Southern, it's interchangeable with all HBCUs, because this story that we're telling you, I guarantee you there are millions of couples that emanated from this place like this that has the same stories.
And I'll see us having a body of compelling work to show the world that we have grown with the times. We're no longer that place that produces black lawyers to work in the black community, but we produce world changers. And that's what I anticipate us doing in the next 10 years, meeting those new demands, because the demands are not going to be the same. They're extremely different, but we'll be ready.
Southern University plants seeds of empowerment. So I walk these halls 87 to 90, knowing that I had a seriousness of purpose. And that purpose was to return and pay it forward.
To uplift youth. That's the most important thing for us, is to encourage youth, encourage them to be successful, and let them know there is a place and a home that you can go.
To be able to pass the baton to the next generation, you need to have able runners. And so serving at the Law Center gives you an opportunity to continue that mission. And I think that more of us should do it.